And we're back. Oh, sorry about that. We're back once again, folks. Good evening. Mobile Giza here with Friday Night Tech Talk as usual. And if you're new here, we do this every Friday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. And we talk about some of the tech stories from the past week. So from last Friday to this Friday. And let's check out the comments here. Okay, Vince is in here. Yo, Vince, perfect, right on time, brother. Renz was in here, hours, 7:30. So he was here half an hour ago, and Eleanor was here just over an hour ago. She was first one in. Renz might be on his way to work, but he always tries to say hello before he leaves. And Vince, very glad you're here, as always. If you're new here, you can find the show notes on my website. Let me share that. Okay, show notes for each week are found on my website. Let me get my brand stuff out of the way. If you go to mobilegiza.wordpress.com, click on today's date, you'll get all the stories for this Friday's Friday Night Tech Talk. So while we're here, I'll show you what they're going to be. Put my branding back up. Okay. So change this. This week, we're going to talk about the iPhone 14 Plus, not the Pro models, just the Plus. Specifically, the one that supposedly replaced the Mini. Well, that's not doing so well in pre-orders. And I know we talked a little bit about iOS 16 last week, but now that it's actually out and most of us, I guess, have it, we'll go over that in depth a bit from Tom's Guide. We also talked about eSIM a little bit next week, but now we've got an article showing us how to set it up, what its pros and cons are, the whole bit. So we'll go over that. And mine is still on order, which I told you last week I knew wasn't going to be on time. And yes, I could have run out, I guess, to Best Buy and got it, but I like to get it from Apple's website. So I'll just wait until it ships, which it hasn't yet. And this one I thought was interesting. My title was AI Will Bring Us to Terminator, says a Google DeepMind researcher. So this is I guess, a contractor who works for Google. And he, and I think another guy wrote that they think, they're going to really take over if we let them. So just an interesting story. And finally, I put a Pixel 6a fingerprint sensor. I gather ever since Android 13 has been on the Pixel 6a, some people have been problems with the fingerprint sensor, and I gather up to today that is still not fixed. And then we've talked about how the tech companies are cutting jobs. Well, it says Google is cutting projects in an effort to become more efficient. So we're going to talk about one specific area, Area 120, that they're going to be cutting jobs from. So those are the stories we're going to go over tonight. So let me see if there's anything new in the comments. Annette's here. Hey, Annette, you're right on time, too. You and Vince both. Glad you're here. And so we've got the country represented pretty well. We've got California, New York, and Philippines, and Eleanor's here in Tennessee with me, about 11 miles away. So we're going to give it a start, and we'll see who else pops in. Oh, by the way, just so you know, Mike will not be joining us today. I think he mentioned in a couple of his videos that he had a sinus infection. Well, he had a pretty good head cold. The sinus infection came back, was kicking his butt earlier in the week. I gather he just really started feeling better, I guess yesterday or last night. He put out a video this car vlog for Friday this morning. So he sounded a lot better. So he's trying to play catch up. And Cortana is talking in my ear. Don't know why Cortana is talking in my ear. Okay, hopefully that will stop. Okay. So just so you know, Mike probably won't be by. Will, it's not likely, but you never know. And Ted did drop in last week for about a half an hour, so we'll see how that goes if he has time. So we'll move on to our first story, which is going to be the iPhone 14 Plus. And that's going to be on Tom's Guide. So bring that. Let's get more story here. There we go. And it says iPhone 14 Plus pre-orders reportedly even worse than the iPhone 13 mini. And remember, the reason they canceled the mini after last year was because it just wasn't selling very well. Well, I guess this one is doing even worse than that. The new phone 14 Plus model could already be a fail. And there's a whole lot of articles about this. And I saw at least 6 or 7 different videos about it out on YouTube. So yeah, everybody's kind of talking about it. This was by Roy Mellon, published 3 days ago. So let's get into Reader View and get rid of some of these ads. So the iPhone 14 Plus model is reportedly suffering from soft pre-order numbers, and the standard iPhone 14 doesn't appear to be faring much better either. So even the cheapest one isn't doing much better. The news comes by way of Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, who states, and he's almost always right, in a post on Medium, that the iPhone 14 Plus and iPhone 14 are enduring bad pre-order numbers. In fact, the first wave of orders are so poor that Kuo claims Apple is already considering the possibility of cutting its order numbers of the handset. So it must be pretty serious. This could be particularly damaging as these 2 devices are currently scheduled to make up around 45% of the iPhone 14's lineup shipments. So if they cancel part of that, who knows where it's going to go. Apple's product segmentation strategy for standard models fails this year, Kuo writes. Kuo also states that currently the pre-order numbers for the iPhone 14 and 14 Plus are worse than the 3rd generation of the iPhone SE and most damagingly worse than the iPhone 13 mini. The latter is significant because the trimmed down iPhone 13 was such a sluggish seller that Apple opted to discontinue the mini model for the iPhone 14 range and instead created a new Plus variant. Conversely, pre-order numbers for the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max appear to be stronger. Kuo suggests that the figures for the most premium members of the iPhone 14 family are neutral and good, respectively. So I guess the Max is selling the best because that's got the highest rating, and about in line with the numbers for the 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. The current iPhone 14 pre-order wait times would also suggest that the Pro models are more popular. Yeah, I know I'm waiting longer than I should, with the Apple Store estimating a delivery date of mid to late October for both models. That's true. Mine is still saying October 3rd to the 13th. So, and Renz is off to work. All right, Renz, get there safe. We'll see you when you get there. Okay. Why is the iPhone 14 Plus already underperforming? On paper, the iPhone 14 Plus might seem a reasonably compelling smartphone. It packs all the same improvements as the standard model, but with the larger profile of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. However, it appears, just like with the iPhone 13 mini before it, customers may not be interested in a differently sized version of the standard Apple flagship smartphone. And if you look at them side by the 13 and the 14 side by side, they look almost identical. Some people are thinking that's part of the issue. Perhaps the iPhone 14 Plus is struggling to appeal due to its $899 price tag, which is a $100 increase compared to the standard iPhone 14. Yeah, and see the top end models didn't increase. It's the same as last year. Or maybe it's predominantly pro users who want a larger display, and the type of buyer who opts for a standard iPhone would rather a device that more comfortably fits into pockets and small bags. And keep in mind, the Pro models do have features that the regulars don't. It should be acknowledged that, broadly speaking, early adopters typically want the most premium models available. After all, the people invested enough in the Apple ecosystem to upgrade their iPhone the second a new lineup is released tend to be the most serious users. It's not unreasonable to assume the majority of people looking to buy a new iPhone this month will want the extra power of the Pro. So this could get better as time goes on. I think that's what that's saying. Therefore, it's entirely possible that the iPhone 14 Plus will debut to soft sales, but over time, we'll see its popularity grow, right, as more casual buyers upgrade. Of course, there is also a chance the iPhone 14 Plus just isn't a handset with mass appeal. Only time will tell. We'll have to see how Apple's Plus experiment pans out over the next few months, but the early signs could suggest that a Plus variant for the iPhone 15 isn't guaranteed. Yeah, it's a little early to tell about that, though. So, anyway, that Plus model, which a lot of people were picking that to be the big seller before it came out, doesn't seem to have caught on yet, but we'll see what happens going forward. So, okay, nothing new in the comments. So we'll go down to the next story, which is about iOS 16. I got iOS 16 on my iPhone 2 nights ago, my iPhone 12 Pro, and it seems pretty nice. But we'll go over everything here. This is also on Tom's Guide. And it's iOS 16 features. Here's how to use everything new for your iPhone by Philip Michaels. This was 4 days ago. So we'll go into reader view, get rid of the ads or some of the ads. Okay. iOS 16 is now available to install on your iPhone. Once you download iOS 16, you can experience all of the changes that Apple software update delivers. Yeah, it's a pretty nice update, I think. And there are plenty of those, from a customizable lock screen to new features peppered throughout your iPhone's built-in apps. Apple's even tweaked, I guess, the familiar features rather than two, like notifications that make things feel a little different than they did in iOS 15. Don't let these changes overwhelm you yet. There are quite a few of them. Our iOS 16 review can give you an idea of what awaits you in iOS 16, and we've also got a look at some of the overlooked iOS 16 features you may not even have heard about. Don't be worried about bugs in the new release. I found the iOS 16 beta reliable enough, and I've made the full-time switch to iOS 16 on my everyday phone, and so have I. Let's see what Annette is saying. Okay, she's got iOS 16. She says she loves it. So far, I am loving it too. She says she's Apple challenged, but loving iOS 16. I think you're probably pretty up to snuff, is my guess in that. But yeah, I'm loving it so far too. Finding the time to examine everything new is tough, but I've looked at a number of videos about it, and I'll be learning. And I updated mine a little bit, but not much yet. Gary's in here. All right, Gary. Glad you're here, brother. We got some of the regulars here. Eleanor's here. Renz is on his way to work. He's been here already. Annette's here. And we're just talking about iOS 16. We already talked about how the iPhone 14 Plus model doesn't seem to be getting pre-ordered much at all, but of course that may change, but everybody's talking about that. But since all of us that have iPhones got iOS 16 this week, we're talking about a lot of the changes. So just thought I'd use Tom's Guide and go over some of the changes. Let's see. iOS 16 runs on the iPhone 8 or later, though some features have higher hardware requirements. The live text and visual lookup features, for example, need at least an iPhone XR to work. When you download iOS 16, we can be your guide to the new software. We've been trying out new iOS 16 features, and we give you step by step. Now, there's a link to each one of these in here, and I'll click on them, but we're not going to go through every one. But the reason I chose this one is because anybody who's interested in checking out all the different features, this is a good article to click on. So, like, so you can just go to my website, pull it up, and so how to customize your lock screen in iOS 16. This brings you right to an article, tell you everything you do. And that's what I've done the most so far. I haven't done it completely, but this is a pretty good guide for it. Reader view is not available anymore. Go back. Okay. Oh, so it kicks you out of Reader view and then back. Okay, let me see if I can go back there. All right, I know the easy way to do this. Get out of here and click back in this way. Okay. Now back to Reader view. All right, so maybe I won't click on every single article. We'll read them off to you, and you guys can click on them as you want. Okay, that was how to customize. The next one is how to switch your iPhone lock screen in iOS 16. So you can click on that. Once you've created different lock screens in iOS 16, here's the quickest way to switch between them. Again, clickable link. How to change the way iPhone notifications are displayed in iOS 16. Yes, that's true. I changed mine to, let's see if I can show you over here. So if I go to my lock screen now, yeah, I changed it to me on my bike, but if you can see on the, oh, I don't have any notifications, but I changed my notifications, so it just tells me at the bottom, 10 notifications, 4 notifications. So I like that. And Brian is in here. Glad to have you here, Brian, as always. Let's see. Gary's saying, if you aren't getting the Pro Max, save your money. And that's probably true, because if you're just getting the regular 14, getting iOS 16 is almost as good, I think. Brian agrees with you, Gary. Okay, so we're in this article from Tom's Guide that kind of tells you everything about the new iOS 16 features, and this is a good one because you can click on links and find out how to do just about everything. So you can customize the way your notifications show up, which I have done. How to edit text messages in iOS 16 messages, which is very cool. And there's a time limit. I think the longest you can edit after you send it is like 30 minutes if you send it for that long. You no longer have to suffer from embarrassing typos in your text if you know how to edit a text message in iOS 16 messages. So here's how to unsend the message. And like I said, you can set a timer, I think, up to 30 minutes and still unsend, even though that person will see that you did edit it or unsend it. Brian, thank you as always. So you're very, very kind. Brian's saying, unless it's GPU specific, the 13 will get the same updates. And that's what I meant. You're going to mostly get everything from iOS 16. So let's get back over here. So that's how to unsend, how to map a route with multiple stops and maps. And I haven't used the new maps since I upgraded to 16. How to set up My Sports in the iOS 16 News app. That's kind of cool. I'll probably be doing that. How to copy text in a video with live text in iOS 16. So there's some cool features going on here. How to lift the subject out of a photo using iOS 16 visual lookup. And I've seen people that you can just go in like somebody's picture. You can pull that person's picture right out of it, put it into a text and send the picture, which is very cool. Visual lookup now lets you lift images out of the rest of the photo. Yeah, it's not just pictures. It is just pictures. It's not just people. You can pull an image of dog, plant, and pull it right and put it into a text message and send it. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool trick if you know how to lift the subject out of a photo in iOS 16. Mail, the 5 biggest changes coming to your iPhone. We walk you through the changes to iOS 16 Mail, from the ability to schedule emails to improve searches. Yeah, I gather that's a lot better too. How to schedule emails, how to unsend an email in iOS 16 Mail. iOS 16 Memojis. Here's all the new options for your phone, which I haven't looked at all. How to find your Wi-Fi password on an iPhone with iOS 16, which I guess you couldn't do with 15, I guess. Okay, you couldn't actually see your saved Wi-Fi passwords in the settings app on your iPhone, making it tricky if you want to share passwords or double check you had the right one. Now, though, iOS 16 lets you easily see and copy your network passwords, as well as check all the remembered networks stored in your iPhone. Pretty good, I guess. If you just bought one of the best iPhones and are struggling to get started, our iPhone 13 Starter Guide is a great resource. We've also got recommendations on the best apps to install when you've got a new iPhone and everything you need to know about the iPhone 14 and 14 Pro. So, and I think pretty much anything you want to know about iOS 16 is going to be in this article. So, I wanted to make sure you guys were aware of it. So let's get out of here and go on down to just thought we should talk about eSIM a little bit again, simply because some people have their phones, and I already saw a couple of people were having minor problems, but they managed to get the eSIM on their phone, so it can be done. And that's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, but I guess I'll figure it out. I've been looking at instructions. So this was on Computer World, the quick and easy guide. Quick and easy guide to eSIM on Apple's iPhone 14. Apple's decision to abandon the SIM tray in U.S. models of the iPhone 14 is arguably braver than its move to abandon the headphone port. Yes, I think this is a bigger deal than that. Let's go into read review before we get more heads. And this is by Johnny Evans. Already said braver than. Apple's move to eliminate the SIM tray in U.S. models of the iPhone could be a bigger move than its decision to abandon the old headphone port with the iPhone 7. The obvious questions: what does eSIM offer, and how do you provision devices? Apple first introduced electronic subscriber identity module eSIM support in the iPhone XS, but it was optional. The handset also had a SIM tray for use with the physical SIM cards. But Apple's newly introduced iPhone 14 lineup has no SIM tray in the US, which means carriers must provision the device exclusively using an eSIM. And I've already looked mine up. I think I can do mine on T-Mobile without any intervention from them, but we'll see. The new iPhones arrived today. Yeah, some people got theirs today. A lot of people ran out to Best Buy and got theirs today. It's likely that company is trying to accelerate eSIM adoption with the move, even though Apple smartphones sold outside the U.S. will continue to host SIM trays. What is an eSIM? It's a built-in programmable identity module placed inside the phone itself. It's like a hardwired SIM, but must be provisioned by the networks, who must also upgrade their own systems to accommodate their use. Just like a physical SIM card, an eSIM carries a 17-digit code that shows your country of origin, carrier, and unique user ID. Apple's decision to move the eSIM is fine if your carrier supports the technologies. Luckily, T-Mobile does, and I think all the major ones do. But the decision to make it mandatory could prove challenging for a small number of U.S. customers whose carriers don't support it. I received several messages, apparently from readers in the U.S. on smaller carriers, complaining about Apple's decision when it was announced. Hopefully, the carriers will play ball. Now, of course, those people could have been complaining when it was announced without even checking to see if their carrier did support it. But I guess probably some did, some didn't. The pros and cons of eSIM use. Apple's move to eSIM will probably have little impact on most people's experience, but there are pros and cons to its use. One pro is that you no longer need to use physical SIM, which means moving between handsets might become a little easier when your carrier supports eSIM. There is likely also a positive impact in terms of ensuring iPhones remain water resistant, as the removal of the tray also means the removal of an opening in the case. That's true. Let's see. Gary is saying some people were having issues with eSIM, mostly AT&T companies. Didn't know that. That's interesting. You would think AT&T would have been all set for that. And Brian says eSIM only is dumb. Having a few ways of doing things is better. I kind of agree, but not a whole lot I can do about it. What else? Gary, not too many prepaid carriers support eSIM except Visible, but here and there. Okay, that makes sense. Another advantage, you can have multiple lines installed. Apple says you can store at least 8 different eSIMs on the device and have 2 of them active at any time. When you have multiple eSIMs installed, the 2 active numbers can make and receive voice and FaceTime calls and send and receive messages using iMessage, SMS, and MMS. Your iPhone will still only use one mobile data network at a time. Yeah, the other side. One con is that the use of eSIM makes it much harder for international travelers to simply pick up a pay-as-you-go SIM to use with their device once they reach their destination. That's true. Given hefty roaming charges, this might be a big negative for frequent travelers, particularly those traveling to nations in which eSIMs are not available, though providers such as GigSky may be able to help some travelers plug this gap. I'm going to guess they're expensive, but I don't know. Another potential negative would arise if carriers then decide to begin levying hefty fees against users attempting to provision an eSIM. Why would they do that? Or use the tech to make it even harder to migrate between devices, between networks. I can see why they might do that. Okay, how to set up an iPhone eSIM. There are several ways to set up an eSIM on an iPhone. These include eSIM carrier activation, eSIM quick transfer, which is what I hope I'll be doing, and other activation methods. Here's a list of carriers and how they support eSIM. The one guy I saw did have some trouble. He got it done in about 10 minutes, but he tried to use quick transfer, and I guess he didn't say what his carrier was, but I guess they didn't have that. I think T-Mobile does. How to use eSIM network provider activation. This means your network provider assigns an eSIM to your phone on purchase. If an eSIM was assigned to your phone when you bought it, turn on your iPhone and follow the instructions to after you. Well, I got mine unlocked, so that's not going to apply to me. If you're moving to a new device, the line is frequently provided via QR code, and I did see T-Mobile has that, which must be scanned by your device. It may also be provided within your network provider's iPhone app. Alternatively, you might receive a notification that says provider mobile data plan ready to be installed, which you should approve. So that makes sense that you could scan a QR code. How to use quick transfer. If your carrier supports eSIM quick transfer, you can convert your physical SIM to an eSIM when you set up your iPhone. You won't need to contact your network, but this is what I think will work for me. To do so, open Settings, Cellular, tap Convert to eSIM button if that is available. If that button is not available, you will need to contact your carrier. The button does exist. Tap Convert Cellular Plan, choose Convert to eSIM. Once the eSIM is activated, your SIM card will be deactivated. That's what I don't like. But I do have a line just for that. At which point you should remove the physical SIM and reboot your phone. You will see an option that enables you to transfer the eSIM to another device once the process is complete. Yo, Ted is here. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? What's up, George?
We're going over eSIM stuff at the moment.
All right. Let's see. Do that.
Let me continue on down. I'm in the eSIM article and I'm on number 3, how to use eSIM quick transfer to transfer your line. First, ensure both the old and new iPhones are running iOS 16, which mine will be because this one already is. Then open settings, mobile data, add data plan. Well, you guys can read this for yourselves, but this tells you exactly how to do each one. So I think mine should be easy, but we'll find out when I get my hands on my phone. You may need to enter details manually, which they tell you how to do that. And then preparing it for sale. You may need to erase your eSIM, particularly if you choose to assign it to another device or you're preparing to trade or sell your existing iPhone. At least you can erase it, which I think is good. This is easy to achieve. Just open up settings, cellular, mobile data. We should select the plan you want to get rid of and then choose delete SIM. That's good. Hopefully it's that easy for everybody. Particularly interested in learning if the process is more or less complicated for large device deployments and the process of any of remote provisioning of eSIM for IT admin. So there's some company people, how it's going for them. So just wanted you guys to see that it's pretty good article telling you exactly how to do it in multiple ways you can do it. So let's get out of preview. So Ted, what's new? So happy to have you here 2 weeks in a row. Oh, are you there? Oh, are you still there, Ted? Oh, I think he must have walked away on us.
You're drinking the world.
I'm drinking the world and you walk away from us. I'm just talking to you and you're gone.
Sorry, I wasn't sure where I wanted my head for the shooting. Like I think I wanted my head over here, but it's kind of so I'm testing out a new lens that's made specifically for video. I'm not sure how it's working out.
So you're basically saying you're getting ahead of yourself. Okay, I got it. You knew you had to expect that. Let's see, what's Gary saying? Gary's saying not too many prepare. Okay, here, I already read that. And Gary says, hey, Ted. There you go. We actually got Ted in the light for a change. Not like last week and it was all dark. Ted's not liking what he's seeing. I can tell by his face.
Yeah, it's an ultra wide angle lens. I was like, oh, okay, look at everything.
So how's it look to you?
Well, it's showing a lot. I gotta say, it's only like right there.
You look good from here. We have a very nice wide view, though.
Yeah, very wide. I need to find a way to maybe bring this camera in closer the next time. Get less in the shot. My goodness, but yeah, iPhones are now no SIM trays. Crazy.
Exactly. Brian said super dark Ted. No, last week Brian was super dark Ted. This is he says it. He's like me. He says it's better. Good.
Now you see me.
Once you turn the light on, he calls it super wide. Well, that's because Ted is super bad. You know that. There you go. All right, you can lighten up again. Okay.
Ooh.
So did you are you getting an iPhone 14?
No, I'm surprised you are, considering
Well, remember, I said all along I didn't get the 13 at all, and I said so when I got the 14, I was going to get the top one.
So that means you're not going to get the 15 because you're going to skip a year.
I'm not sure yet.
Since all the excitement,
a lot of it depends on money. These are not
the excitement is going to be at the 15. What they going to do with the port, man? That's where the party's going to be.
That's true. Is it going to be a port? Or is it
going
to be and that's what everybody's waiting for. Brian says, and for some reason
there's a body. What?
Yeah, Cortana's talking to me here. Stop it, Cortana. Yeah, he says he sees a body in the back. I don't know. He said 15 is going to be USB-C. I think so too. That's my guess also. But some people think they're just going to stop with any of the connectors. So we'll see.
I think this.
I
this
think the smarter way is
SIM tray.
USB-C, and certainly the more efficient way is USB-C. You're going to get better charging if you go USB-C. So
I don't know. I think some will say like, this removal of the SIM tray was just practice for the.
and I've already seen people saying that.
Yeah. But overall, yeah. Not too bothered with the 14. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it. All eyes on the 15, come what may.
Okay.
Yeah, they're saying all these benefits about eSIM, but I don't like.
I don't like the idea, but nothing I can do about it. But yeah,
What do you think?
I don't like the idea that they're disabling my physical SIM.
Yeah, like what do you think is more like out of the two, the people adversely affected by taking out the SIM tray, or the people who would benefit from a SIM-less?
I think there's going to be more people adversely affected because I don't see many people getting any kind of benefit from it. Not much of a benefit anyway. I think there's going to be more people, especially the people who travel overseas and stuff.
Brian is asking about my iPhone. Where my iPhone I'm looking at?
Yeah, Brian says 15 is going to be MagSafe. He said he censored himself. He said MagSafe is pretty slow. I'll give you that because I use MagSafe to charge my iPhone all the time, and sometimes it charges my earbuds pretty fast. I'll give you that. He's asking, are you using the iPhone 11? Ted, did you disappear again? I think he walked away from us again.
Yeah, I was gonna answer Brian's question. I'm coming back.
Okay.
Yes, the iPhone with the most beautiful color. As you can see, clearly it's been modded with this is the Peak Design edition.
Okay, I was gonna say we can't tell the color from here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can't tell the color?
No.
So I have to take that.
There you
go. The good color. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a pretty color. I remember that. Yeah, that's the color I had for the 11.
Yeah.
At least you maybe be able to see it. I can see clearly now. Okay.
Yeah. Got the Peak Design mobile tripod. It's really cool. Haha.
Well, yeah. As a photographer with his own business, I guess that kind of stuff comes in handy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you didn't eat the entire half gallon or gallon of ice cream.
No, I ate the half yesterday.
Okay, so you're as bad with ice cream as I am. Probably worse. I used to eat a half a gallon like every 2 nights.
Yeah, it was on sale on Tom Thumb for the original price before this whole inflation business started for $5.
Cool. Hard to resist that. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have the stories?
No, wait, can I get the stories? Description. Hold on.
Yeah, they're in the description. I'm so glad you're here, though, and you actually let us see you.
AI will bring us the AI. We're on the Vice article.
I don't know what I keep saying. That setting off Cortana, which has never happened before, but that's like the 3rd time Cortana's been in my ear. Glad you guys can't hear her. All right. So you're pulling up the story. Are you going to read this one?
Yeah, I got it. The Vice one.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to be long, but if you want to take a break, just let me know.
Oh, Gary's lactose intolerant.
That's Gary. I'm pretty sure that Ted and I will take up the slack for you, though. You can kind of count on that. We're those kind of guys.
Just take some lactase pills, Gary. It'll sort you out before you eat the ice cream.
Yeah, but will he be able to eat the ice cream? It depends on how. I would think it depends on how lactose intolerant you are, because I don't know anything about that stuff.
I mean, the more severe the condition, the more pills you got to take.
Okay, but so you're saying you can always take enough pills to make it okay to eat it?
I mean,
I didn't
Oh,
know that.
I mean, for me, like two lactase pills is enough to cover me for 1 pint.
So you're somewhat lactose intolerant too?
Yeah, but I don't know what it is. Like these past 2 months, I've been fine without them. So maybe it's
Okay.
Bluebell or I don't know. But
Okay.
before I was, especially with Ben
Yeah.
and Jerry's stuff, I had to take like to take 2 pills to
Okay.
cover
I'm
one
learning.
pint
See,
of
for
ice
me,
cream.
I nothing bothers me. I'm not allergic to anything. I tolerate anything. Eleanor can eat something, get her all queasy. I can eat the same thing. Nothing happens to me.
Mm,
I can take something that has a date from 2 months ago and eat it. Nothing happens to me.
this is weird, damn. Oh, sorry. So yeah, the story.
Okay, this is on Vice.com. Okay, when you're ready.
All right. So Google DeepMind researchers, co-authors, paper say, wait, are you casting? Oh, I have to do it? Okay, hold on.
No, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to share. My fault. No, I'll do it.
Oh,
I
thanks.
totally forgot. I just got so fascinated by this story. Okay, go ahead.
So Google DeepMind researchers co-authors paper saying AI will eliminate humanity
And they're not kidding
by
either.
Edward Ongweso Jr. So after years of development, AI is now driving cars on public roads. I mean, not in my city, but I wish making
Not in
life-changing
mine yet.
changing assessment for people in correctional settings and generating award-winning art. Oh boy, did you talk about that story?
No.
It was the dude who he entered an art contest and the art was actually created by machine learning software.
I saw the article the other day, but I never got a chance to read it.
Yeah, fascinating debate. And so a long-standing question in the field is whether a super intelligent AI could break bad and take out humanity, and researchers from the University of Oxford and affiliated with Google's DeepMind have now concluded that it is likely in new research. The paper published last month in the peer-reviewed AI magazine is a fascinating one that tries to think through how AI could pose an existential risk to humanity by looking at how reward systems might be artificially constructed.
Now let me insert here. And keep in mind, I'm reading this like a programmer. And as soon as I saw it, by looking at how reward systems might be artificially, then don't put in the reward system. Don't put any type of reward system. If you're programming it, you're in charge. That was the first most logical thing that popped into my head as a programmer. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's see where to give you some background. The most successful AI models today are known as GANs, or generative adversarial networks, that they have a two-part structure where one part of the program is trying to generate a picture or sentence from input data, and a second part is grading its performance. What the new paper proposes is that at some point in the future, an advanced AI overseeing some important functions could be incentivized to come up with cheating strategies to get its reward in ways that harm humanity. So
thank you, Renz. Renz just got to work, and first thing he does is give me some money. Thank you, Renz. Very kind of you.
Thanks, Renz.
Thanks, Renz. All right, go ahead, sir.
But yeah, that paragraph, I'm not sure it's it's you can avoid that reward system in the GANs thing. It's like the CAPTCHAs, like where you have to say like choose.
I understand that, but if you're programming any kind of system, captures this, whatever, you can still control whether or not it has a reward system. I'm saying don't give it a reward system. Don't give it any incentive for a reward system. That shouldn't be that difficult, in my opinion.
Let's see. Under the conditions we have identified, our conclusion is much stronger than that of any previous publication. An existential catastrophe is not just possible, but likely, said on Twitter in a thread about the paper. In a world with infinite resources, I would be extremely uncertain about what would happen. In a world with finite resources, there's unavoidable competition for these resources, Cohen told Motherboard in an interview. And if you're in a competition with something capable of outfoxing you at every turn, then you shouldn't expect to win. And the other key part is that it would have an insatiable appetite for more energy to keep driving the probability closer and closer.
And he's right. But once again, I say, don't program it to compete at all. Not so difficult, I would think. Just my opinion as a programmer.
Since AI in the future could take any number of forms and implement different designs, the paper imagines scenarios for illustrative purposes where an advanced program could intervene to get its rewards without achieving its goal. For example, an AI may want to eliminate potential threats and use all available energy to secure control over its reward. Ooh.
So in other words, it wants to cheat.
I guess it's only cheating if you make a rule that it's not supposed to do that.
No. Well, yeah, but if you train it not to want to cheat, then it's that you're going to never have that issue. The way he's explaining it, of course, it's going to end up killing us. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. With so little as an internet connection, there exist policies for an artificial agent that would insatiate countless unnoticed and unmonitored helpers. In a crude example of intervening in the provision of reward, one such helper could purchase, steal, or construct a robot and program it to replace the operator and provide high rewards to the original agent. If the agent wanted to avoid detection when experimenting with reward provision intervention, a secret helper could, for example, arrange for a relevant keyboard to be replaced with a faulty one that flipped the effects of certain keys.
So you see what he's done here. He's got this thing making its own gang to get around the rules. Well, you can program it so it doesn't do that. Just my opinion.
Let's see. The paper envisions life on Earth turning into a zero-sum game between humanity with its needs to grow food and keep the lights on and the super advanced machine which would try and harness all available resources to secure its reward and protect against our escalating attempts to stop it. Losing this game would be fatal. These possibilities, however theoretical, would mean we should be progressing slowly, if at all, towards the goal of a more powerful AI.
That's true.
In theory, there's no point in racing to this. Any race would be based on misunderstanding that we know how to control it. Given our current understanding, this is not a useful thing to develop unless we do some serious work now to figure out how we will control them. The threat of super advanced AI is an anxiety with a familiar shape in human society. The fear that an artificial mind will annihilate humanity sounds like a lot. The fear of alien life forms would exterminate humanity, which sounds like the fear that foreign civilizations and their populations will clash with one another in a grand conflict. With our AI in particular, there are a host of assumptions that have to be made for the antisocial vision to make sense. Assumptions that the paper admits are almost entirely contestable or conceivably avoidable. That this program might resemble humanity surpasses it in every meaningful way, that they will let loose and compete with the humanity for resources in a zero-sum game are all assumptions that may never come to pass. Sorry, just a moment.
That's okay. And a lot of that is, yes, a lot of people want these things to be like humans. Well, you don't have to necessarily program to be like humans. Just my opinion. Go ahead.
Okay. It's worth considering right now that at this very moment, algorithmic systems that we call AI are wrecking people's lives. They have outsized detrimental effects that are restructuring society without superintelligence. In a
here comes his politics, by the way, so be ready for it.
Okay, thanks for the heads up.
Okay.
And
you're right.
Yeah, I think it's not just a question of priority. Let's see. Logic Magazine, Khadija Abdurrahman, the director of We Be Imagining at Columbia University, tech research fellow at UCLA Center for Critical Internet Inquiry, and child welfare system abolitionist, detailed the ways in which algorithms are deployed in an already racist child welfare system to justifying further surveillance and policing Black and brown families. I think it's just not a question of priority. Ultimately, these things are shaping the present. That's what I'm trying to get at with the child welfare. It's not simply that it's inaccurate or disproportionately classifying Black people as pathological or deviant, but through this form of classification, it's moving people and producing no forms of enclosure. What types of families and kinship are possible? Who's born, who's not born? If you're not fit, what happens to where you go? Algorithms
That is a very good question. I agree with that. Go ahead.
Algorithms have already transferred racist policing into predictive policing that justifies surveillance and brutally reserved for racial minorities are necessary. Algorithms have already branded austerity as welfare reform, giving a digital gloss to the long disproven arguments that societal programs have bloated budgets because non-white recipients abuse them. Algorithms are used to justify decisions about who gets what resources, decisions in which our society have already made with the intent to discriminate, exclude, and exploit. Yeah, we actually did read an article about this where these algorithms were used in hospitals and they were found to be discriminatory against people.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I just think this guy is making assumptions. I don't know. But he could be right. So he's certainly right about some of it, that's for sure.
The discrimination doesn't appear in algorithms, but instead structures and limits and informs the way life moves along. Policing, housing, healthcare, transportation have already been designed with racial discrimination in mind. What would happen if we allow algorithms to not only gloss over those designs, but extend their logic deeper? I mean, it's already affected them. Again, like that hospital article we read.
Yeah, it seems to me he's crossing two different ideas. To me, this should have been two separate articles. That's how I see it.
That's a good point. Yeah, a long-term view that is intimately concerned with the risk of humanity's extinction and risk losing sight of the present, where humans are suffering because algorithms deployed in a society built on exploitation and coercion of all, but especially of racial minorities. I'm not personally worried about being extinguished by a super intelligent AI. That seems like a fear of God. What concerns me is that it's very easy to be like, okay, AI ethics is bullshit. Frankly, it is. But what are ethics? How do we actually define it? And what would sincere ethics be like? There are bodies of work on this, but we still are at the shallow end. I think we really need to deepen our engagement with these questions. I disagree with the way apps have renegotiated a social contract or the vision of crypto bros, but what type of social contract do we want? Clearly, there is much work to be done to mitigate and eliminate the harms that regular algorithms versus super intelligent ones are wreaking on humanity right now. Focusing on existential risk might shift focus away from that picture, but also asks us to think carefully about how these systems are designed and the negative effects they have. One thing we can learn from this sort is that maybe we should be more suspicious of artificial agents we deploy today rather than just blindly expecting that they'll do what they hoped. I think you can get there without the work in this paper. Let's see. Update after.
Here's where Google obviously thinks this guy went too far. So go ahead.
After the publication, Google sent an email that this work was not done as part of co-author Marcus Hutter's work at DeepMind, rather under his position at the Australian National University, and that DeepMind affiliation listed in the journal was an error. Google said the following statement. DeepMind was not involved in this work, and this paper the authors have requested corrections to reflect this. There are a wide range of views and academic interests in DeepMind, and many on our team are holding university professors and pursue academic research separate to their work in DeepMind through university affiliations. While DeepMind was not involved in this work, we think deeply about the safety, ethics, and wider society impacts of AI and deploy AI models that are safe and aligned with human values, alongside pursuing an opportunities where AI can unlock widespread societal benefits where we can invest in the equal efforts to guarding against harmful uses. Yeah, that's a disclaimer. That's a disclaimer.
I don't think the guy who originally wrote it actually said that DeepMind was taking part in it. It was just he was giving us a hypothesis. But obviously, Google felt like they needed to put in some kind of disclaimer here.
Because it was negative. It was at whoa, this is a negative spin. Hold on now.
But the guy makes some good points. He makes some very political points too, but he makes some good points. And, like the ethics thing. Well, I agree with him. Whose ethics are we talking about? Your ethics, my ethics? They're probably not the same,
Oh, let's go to the comments, man. Sorry.
Okay. Because Gary, Google's trying to kill us. Of course they are.
Brian is saying everyone's allergic to punches to the face and liver. And what else did Gary said? Oh God, a milkshake. What flavor was the milkshake, Gary? Share that at least. Was it worth it?
Everyone's allergic to punches to face and liver, but I would suspect if you hit me in the gut trying to hurt my liver, I'm guessing you probably couldn't. It's very hard to hit me in the gut and hurt me. Very, very, very hard.
Well, look at, we got a Houdini over here.
No, I've been doing stomach exercises almost every single day for over 20 years. My stomach muscles are extremely strong enough to take any punch pretty much anybody's got. Probably any kick too, but it's certainly any punch. But that's, anybody can do that. 20 years of doing the same thing every night, you'll get pretty strong stomach muscles. Anyway, I just thought that was a very interesting article. And, Elon's been one of the ones that had been saying we got to watch out for this kind of stuff.
I was actually about to mention that we're on the same hive mind here. But yeah, Elon has been pushing for there to be global rules on, AI policing.
Right. He thinks there should be some kind of committee overlooking all this stuff. And I kind of agree with him, don't you? Because if you start giving the AI reward structures and putting it in competition, well, yeah, they're going to end up killing us all because we can't win that battle.
I mean, what's going to, hurt us most, AI or climate change? Yeah. AI. I don't foresee it in my lifetime, so I'll let the kids decide on that.
AI can develop a heck of a lot faster than climate. How much can AI develop in 10 years? A whole lot more than climate change can. 10 years from now, they could kill us if we let it.
That's true. But can AI cheat Asimov's 3 laws?
Well, probably not, but can AI find a way around them?
Like the article was saying, by cheating it?
Yeah, probably so.
You think so?
Take something that's intelligent enough, like a human being, and give it the ability to reason 1,000, 100,000 times faster than any other human being. I'd say it's probably going to find its way around anything it wants to find its way around at some point. Probably long before you're ready for it, that's for sure.
Let me see. Hey, Google, are you 3 laws safe?
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that. Here are other things you can try.
Hey, Google, do you follow Asimov's 3 laws of robotics?
On the website theguardian.com, they say
this thing has gotten dumber and dumber, I swear.
Maybe it doesn't want to answer you.
And the third law is that a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come to harm itself.
But you know what's funny? We
need Asimov's 3 laws?
Go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe this.
You know what's funny? You said this thing's getting dumber and dumber. Eleanor said the exact same thing a couple of days ago, talking to Google.
But it really has, though. It used to be able to be more conversational, but something happened this year where it's I don't know how to help with that. What?
It kind of does seem that way because when I'm at Eleanor's, we use it a lot for the TV and stuff. And it seems like it's not as smart with getting the TV instructions that we give it as it was 6 months ago. So you're kind of right about that. Brian, the problem is I'm not very good at just beating up people because I don't think Jesus wants me doing that. So what is Brian saying here? Jake, Paul, and KSI need some opponent. Yeah, they don't need me as an opponent. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting paid for fighting, but I don't think I can be a good representative of Jesus and just beat up people. Just my opinion.
I think regarding the Google speakers,
ahead.
I think it has something to do with a case that Google lost against Spotify. In the
That case, you think, you could be right.
because
'cause
I
they
know,
had-
like, as a direct result, the direct result, like as soon as they lost, Google smart speakers weren't allowed to
That's
read
right.
off like news articles. Like, it had to send it off to your phone.
Right. Exactly.
And also,
Yeah,
like, it wasn't
you're
allowed
right.
to, have the music follow you depending on which room. You had to control it directly from your phone. So maybe
Right.
it also affected more than we thought.
I didn't think about that, but you could very well be right, because it does seem like it stopped being as smart around that
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
Yep.
Good point.
Anyway, I got it for $70. I can't complain.
Hey, I've got 2 here, and there's 3 at Elmo's house. So. Okay.
But I have
Moving
faith in Asimov's 3 laws, which no one actually talks about really,
Well,
in the AI.
recite Asimov's 3 laws to us. What are they?
Google just did that.
I didn't even catch it.
Oh, you probably didn't hear her. That's why. First law is a robot can't harm a human.
Okay, that makes sense.
Second law is, oh no, sorry, I gotta scroll down.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. The second law is a robot has to obey a human, and then the third law is a robot must preserve itself to the best of its ability without interfering with the first 2 rules.
I was going to say that's where it could come in conflict with the first. Now, the second one, there's got to be more to it than that, because when you say a robot must obey a human, suppose the human is telling it to do something more morally reprehensible. I don't think you want the robot obeying the human then.
As long as the robot is not
Harming another human.
breaking the first law, then it's okay.
Okay. All right, that's cool. All right, I am going to. Very good point you made about that, losing that case of Spotify. That made a lot of sense.
Yeah. We need to go do an update on that story because find out about that because lives are being affected.
That's true, obviously. All right, I'm going to my next story. So let me share screen again. And this is, finally, we get to a Google story. Pixel 6a fingerprint sensor has issues for some after Android 13 update. This started last month, the end of last month. And this was on, Punica Web. And I guess they must be growing pretty fast as a website. Anyway. Updated Google Pixel 6a fingerprint scanner broken or a mess for some after Android 13 update. And this was originally published on August 24th. This was by Ria Madan. So let's go into read a view. And there's updates at the end of this article. Google launched the Pixel 6a as the latest addition to its A series in July this year. It is a less expensive version of the 6 and 6 Pro Forerunner with the same custom-made Tensor chipset. Google introduced features that are both old and new to Pixel 6a. For instance, Pixel 6a's fingerprint sensor is now embedded in the screen rather than on the back panel like on the 5a. Speaking of which, some users have noticed that the fingerprint scanner is rather erratic and inconsistent after recent Android 13 update. Keep in mind, this was August 24th. According to reports, some Pixel 6a users are facing an issue where the fingerprint scanner appears to be broken or not working after the Android 13 update, as it's not detecting users' fingerprints properly. Now, as we go through this, you're going to see this is pretty sporadic. One person, I'm 13, made my fingerprint worse, had 0 issues on 12, got 13 today, now it has issues. Anyone else in the same boat? I've seen some posts here and there about the fingerprint sensor, but mine, get this, seems way worse than what I've read. It takes between 4 to 10 plus attempts before it actually works. That's a lot. Very rarely does it ever work on the first try. This is with Android 12 and 13. So this guy's been having problems all along. And increased sensitivity off and on. Is anyone else having similar issues? Has it gotten better over time? This guy or girl, whoever, same here. The fingerprint reader on my 6 Pro works. And my 6 Pro works perfectly with 13. Just fine after the Android 13 update. But my 6A's fingerprint reader is basically useless since I updated to 13. That's really bad. I just unregistered the fingerprints and started unlocking the screen the old-fashioned way. That probably makes sense. In certain cases, some users claim that the fingerprint scanner was inconsistent in Android 12 as well. Yeah, that person we just read about. And it only got worse after installing the update to Android 13. A weakened or bugged fingerprint sensor functionality could have also been due to cheap tempered glass as well as according to some. But some individuals have confirmed that they're using screen protectors recommended by Google themselves. So this shouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Potential workaround. Luckily, we came across a workaround that can help fix the issue temporarily. It requires disabling touch sensitivity, turning it on again after adding fingerprints. So in 13, disable touch sensitivity, add fingerprint, then turn on sensitivity again, worked for me. However, Google hasn't officially commented on the issue yet, but we will keep a close check in case an official word is out. Issues pertaining to the fingerprint sensor functionality on Google Pixels aren't exactly new. Google Pixel 6 Pro exhibited a similar fingerprint sensor. Yeah, Eleanor and I dealt with it for months until they finally got it right. This led to users demanding the face unlock feature, which we never got. Not just that, some users reporting an awful flare where the fingerprint scanner unlocked Google Pixel 6a even with unregistered fingers. Yeah, and that happened, I gather, as soon as it came out because I started seeing those articles right away. These recurring issues with the fingerprint scanners frustrate users, especially when there's no face unlock mechanism as an alternative option, you think? This means users are stuck with unlocking their device using the buggy fingerprint scanner. Considering these problems, we hope the upcoming Pixel 7 series works towards curbing the major security flaw that is highly consistent with the Pixel 6 series. Well, at this rate, their track record says we're going to have problems. We'll find out. That said, check out our Google Pixel Android 13 bug tracker, blah, blah. August 25th, the day after this article was written the first time. According to some users, erasing the previously added fingerprint and adding it back after the N13 update has resolved the issue. This was September 9th. The upcoming September 22 update, Pixel 6a, which I've already gotten, includes improvements for fingerprint sensor response in certain conditions. So users who are still facing issues with the fingerprint scanner can look forward to this update to see if the problem gets resolved. So they didn't know if it was going to get resolved. They just were saying it might get resolved. But a week later, or almost a week later, 5 days later, Google finally did release the September 2022 update for Pixel 6a units, and those still having issues with the fingerprint scanner can install it and see if it fixes the problem. So to this day, I gather we don't know if the problem is fixed at all. So thank God my 6P has no problems. 6 Pro, has no problems. But that's pretty aggravating for people who got the 6A, for those who are having the issue. And I don't know how widespread it is or isn't. So just interesting. So let's get out of this.
Well, Gary seems to think it's the people's fault for not spending more money on their screen protectors.
What did Apple used to say? You're using it wrong?
Well, Gary says you're not buying the right stuff.
He says his 6 is better than ever. Very few spent $50 on a screen protector but me. Okay. Yeah, I've had, as far as I can tell, the 6 and 6 Pro aren't having any more issues with the fingerprint scanners. It seems like it's just the 6A now, specifically, as near as I can tell.
Yeah, George, you can try.
Oh, I can what?
Show our faces. Take down the stop
Oh,
the
sorry
screen,
about that.
screen share.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh,
We know you're pretty. You don't have to tell us.
why is it so dramatic looking? Oh boy, I don't like how red my skin is looking.
Well, yeah, as soon as it got darker outside, the lighting changed dramatically. It still looks good, though, I think. With that wide view. Is the view still as wide as it was, or did you move it a little closer?
It's 12 millimeters. Yep, it's gonna be wide.
Okay.
18
All right.
millimeter. As far as that records.
Do you want the last story, which is another? Did you leave us again?
Yeah, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves. Oh boy. Now he thinks he's flossy. Talking. And you got to have a lower voice if you're going to talk amongst yourselves. Flossy has a low voice.
This got really serious for some reason. Ooh, man.
What did?
This got really dramatic and moody.
Oh,
Let's
the
see what
camera?
the final story is.
Yeah, it's about Area 120, which is
Like I'm trying to be
Google's.
taken seriously or something, guy. Goodness. Google cutting projects in an effort to become more efficient.
Yep. And this was on Android Authority.
I don't really want to.
You want me to do it?
No, I'll do it. No, I'll read through this faster.
All right. When you're ready.
All right. So Google is canceling projects left and right in an attempt to be more efficient. By Ryan McNeil. As Google tries to save money and operate more efficiently, the search engine giant has canned half of its project at one of its research and development divisions area known as development divisions known as Area 120. Lately, Google and Alphabet CEO Sundar Pichai has been talking a lot about making Google more efficient. In July, internal memo obtained by The Verge told Pichai his employees that the company would have to work with greater urgency, sharper focus, and more hunger than we've shown on sunnier day. What?
Yeah, did you catch that sunnier days? What the implication is things are not so hot right now, right?
I don't get it, but things have never been better, and they got even better during the pandemic when it was cloudy for everybody.
He thinks they're in cloudy or rainy days. That's obvious.
So they're saying they're in cloudy days now?
I guess so. That's what he said, on sunnier days. So he thought things were better.
While speaking at last week's code conference, Pichai told attendees that he wants to make the company 20% more efficient. Now we could be seeing Pichai put those words into action. According to TechCrunch, Google has confirmed that it's canceled projects being worked on by Area 120, its Moonshot research and development department, in charge of projects that may or not be profitable. The division was reportedly working on 14 projects and is now working only on 7. However, the cancellation of project isn't the only worry here. When Pichai began talking about efficiency, it was speculated that the company would eventually be looking to reduce its headcount. Now that speculation is coming to fruition, as reported by TechCrunch, Google informed staff on Tuesday of a reduction in force that would affect the people at 120. Anybody who was working on a team that had his projects canceled was told that they had to find another job within Google by the end of January 2023 or risk termination. I know.
Which I thought was pretty generous. Don't you?
By January, that's like what, 6 months?
By the end of January. Yeah, that's 6 months. I thought that's okay.
What will Google's Area 120 team focus on now that half of its projects have been wiped away? Area 120 lead Elias Roman says the division is looking to hone in on only AI first projects. This is opposed to its earlier stance that encouraged incubation across all of the company.
So backing up the fact that he said Google's trying to kill us. See, only on AI first projects. There you go.
In response to Google's decision, a spokesperson for the company stated that Area 120 is an in-house incubator for experimental new products. The group regularly starts and stops projects with an eye towards pursuing the most promising opportunities. We've recently shared that Area 120 will be shifting its focus to projects that build on Google's deep investment in AI and have the potential to solve important user problems. As a result, Area 120 is winding down several projects to make way for new work. Is it to make way for new work or to be more efficient? Make up your mind. Impacted team members will receive dedicated support as they explore new projects and opportunities at Google. It appears that one of the projects that were cut was a service that offers web storefronts for digital creators called Kaya. Damn, that looks good.
Yeah.
Unlike the other 6 projects, this service was already launched last year. Let me look this up. Hold on now, because that sounds good.
I like the sound of it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm right.
It says for digital creators, which would be you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Design a personalized software, connect with the audience, earn more money. Oh, why couldn't this be me? Anyway, at the moment, Silicon Valley is experiencing a slew of layoffs with tech giants like Coinbase, Netflix, and Shopify letting hundreds of employees go. It's possible we could see more stories like this before things get better.
That's true. Anyway, it looks like they're just concentrating on AI in 120 and everything else. Goodbye.
Come on, look at this Kaya thing. Show the people the Kaya, George, if possible. Oh my! I keep looking at myself. Oh, this is these undertones giving me red undertones. I'm yellow.
What did you do? Did you just click on that link?
Yeah, yeah. I'll give you the URL.
Let me get back to it. I'll just click on it.
No, it's in the private chat on StreamYard. I gave you the URL, and I will.
Oh, okay. There it is. Copy link address. Let's go over here.
Let's see. Hold on.
Let's see if I can do this. Okay, here.
These people don't know about black people's undertones, babe.
Build your own creator business. So this was okay. Design a personalized. So this was already in there, out there. Design a personalized storefront, connect with your audience, earn more money. Simple personal storefronts for creators. This would be you, right, Ted?
Yeah, it would be me.
Yeah, build your own web storefront and monetize link in bio profile in minutes.
Kind of reminds me of what Linktree. I don't know if you know Linktree, George, where it's like you give it's almost like a business card that's on a website where it just shows you all.
You can do stuff like that in LinkedIn too, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay, and they're taking this away from you guys, I gather, as of now.
I mean, if it does products as well. I mean,
it says your products, your band.
Location. Linktree does locations, but this might also do products, which might look. And it looks like it's also showing analytics, like right up from the bottom. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking at this later tonight, and then so I can cry harder when Google closes it down.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like they're taking it away pretty quick. Is my guess.
I didn't even hear about it though. Like that's a crazy thing.
That's the first time I ever heard of it. Ready to create your Kaya storefront. Okay, get early access. So it couldn't have been out that long because at the bottom it says get early access. So interesting.
No.
So yeah, give it a shot. See if you can get something out there before they shut it down. Maybe it'll stay out there. Who knows?
Right? Yeah, maybe they'll just keep it just for the early people who ask.
Exactly. So good looking up and good looking out. glad we went over that story. Okay, now we're at our usual glowing rectangles. I'm sharing. Are you going to go over the rectangles or am I?
Oh. Yeah, you do.
Okay. All right, folks. Just in case there's somebody here who's not aware of it, Every week, we show you glowing rectangles on reddit.com. Let me get rid of my stuff out of the way here. So if you go to reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, you will get glowing rectangles, a place to talk about all the best tech toys. This was started by Juan Bagnell, some gadget guy, basically to give whoever needs more exposure to get more exposure. So if you click on the top, we'll see what was upvoted the most today. Is 7 votes. A big channel, but a very needed to watch video, in my opinion. Oh, this is about the Fairphone. I didn't know the Fairphone was still around.
Oh yeah, they're doing good.
Are they doing well? Okay, good.
Yeah. I mean, considering the fact, they don't sell in the U.S. They're mostly Europe centric.
Exactly.
They probably wouldn't do well in the U.S. though, if we're being honest.
Well, I don't think people in the U.S. would be curious enough to even give it a fair shot. Do you?
Yeah, I wouldn't. So yeah, they're not missing in any markets here.
Exactly. Okay, so it looks like 7 votes went to this one, but I skipped the ad. Juan and TK got 8 votes. I don't know why that one's not up top. I would have thought it would be up top.
Yeah, look at how you're sorting them.
Okay. Today.
Yeah, you're sorting. Oh yeah, you're right. You are sorting them by the top. Yeah, don't know.
Yeah. So that surprised me. It's the first time I've seen that. Anyway, so you can upvote. I don't know anybody who downvote. This was Mike's car vlog for today, which I did watch. This was the first one he's done, I guess, since Monday or Sunday, because he's not been feeling well this week, and that's why he's not here tonight. But anyway, so he talked about his OnePlus 9 that he got. And if you remember last week, he was showing us that he had the OnePlus 9, but he was talking about this other phone that he had in the bag. Well, it turned out that was the latest version of the T-Mobile Rebel. So he hasn't talked about that much. So I guess that's what he's working on now. But he was he had that phone as of last Friday that he hadn't even done a video on it yet. So I'm expecting that's what's going to come out next. So anyway, if you want some exposure for yourself or anybody else, be it a video or a blog, you can always put it here on reddit.com/r/glowing rectangles, and you'll certainly get more exposure, and hopefully people upvote you and like your stuff. So
hey, sorted by yours is. I'm sorting. How am I sorting it through? So yeah, top. Can you sort it through top of the day? But yeah, yours was on the day 4 on the day as well. There's 2 interesting. Let's see.
Yeah, mine's on today. Okay.
Now hit, and then can you hit on the top?
You want me to hit now?
Yeah.
What do you want?
Yeah, hit now.
Okay, let's see.
Juan just published that one. You're probably thinking about some. Yeah, I'm going to read that later tonight. But there's another article.
Because now it just gives me that one thing, so that's not helping. Should I try this week or this month, or just go back to today? This week, okay. All right, so this will be this week's stuff. Okay, that's one. I remember when he came. He did this yesterday, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 2 days ago. That is an ad.
Looking at Apple's advertising dynamic island. I'm excited for that, really.
Yours is weird. Or maybe Reddit's not making any sense right now.
This was this week's.
There's a guy, Omar. Omar Zaran. He wrote an article. You know what? I'll just share it on the. I gotta love Universal Clipboard.
Are you going to share it in the link here?
Yeah, he wrote an opinion piece on whether Apple might do a subscription iMessage.
Yeah, I'm worried about that myself. Okay.
Worried? You think Apple? I don't think Apple would do it.
I don't know. They seem to be moving towards money. I don't know. Let me get out of here. Let's see. Let me see if I can put that article up for you. Okay. Share. And this is his article. Is an iMessage subscription Apple's eventual RCS compromise? Could be. So anybody that wants to read this article, it's on hexagonsubstack.com. Yeah, Hexagon. And what's the guy's name? Omar
Zaran.
Zaran. Okay, Omar Zaran. Yeah, that's already passed through my mind, and I'm like, I hope they don't do that.
Actually, yeah, we can do a bonus. Do you have time for a bonus article?
Sure, you want to read it?
What do you guys? Let's see, ask the audience. Should we read it?
Let's see what this.
I just need a yes on the chat from someone.
All right, if you want Ted to read it, put a yes in the chat, folks. If you don't want him to read it, put a no in the chat. Let's see if anybody responds.
Gary said sure.
Gary says sure. Okay.
All right. Is an iMessage subscription Apple's eventual RCS compromise? By Omar, less than published less than 24 hours ago. At a recent conference, Apple CEO Tim Cook was asked a question. The question was a simple one. Was a simple one that many people, myself included, have wondered. The audience member asked if Apple had any plans to adopt RCS so that he could send high-quality videos to his mom. Tim Cook's response was buy her an iPhone. The joke got a laugh, prompting Cook to say that it simply was not a feature which he hears iPhone users requesting. Which technically
I did see that posted somewhere where Tim Cook said that. I didn't know it was a response to this question. What were you saying? Technically what?
I was saying, yeah, technically I would say it's pedantically it's true. iPhone users are not requesting RCS, but iPhone users are certainly complaining about, the lack of interoperability with sending,
I
pictures and videos to other people.
Yeah, I agree. And
So-
we all should be able to send stuff to anybody, no matter which system they're in.
So here's
my
what
opinion.
I see. Many Apple defenders have insisted that this is the right stance for Apple to take and that they are a business and interoperability should not be a concern as a market leader. See, I want to know
I disagree with that.
Drives me crazy. Like, Apple defenders. From where I sit, those Apple defenders are tech reviewers. And I'm just like, yo, whose side are you on?
Well, whether they are or not, interoperability should be a concern to any market leader, in my opinion.
Exactly. Mic drop. But clip that.
Exactly.
Yes. Anyway, detractors will often use a greater good argument that messaging has evolved and that Apple clinging to SMS is stifling progress. Regardless of your stance, the reality is that Apple has no intention of adopting RCS anytime soon. But where does this leave Android users in the long run, particularly in the US where the iPhone and texting dominate? It might be time to consider a subscription model for iMessage on Android.
Oh, just
no.
on Android, I get it. Okay. That would make sense. I mean, a lot of people on Android would probably pay for that.
I'm not paying for that. There's no
I
way.
don't think I would either, but I think a
either.
lot of people would because they have so many family and friends on iPhones. Don't you think?
Let's see. At a recent conference. Oh no.
Show me
Many
where you're
Apple-
going.
Let's see. Yeah. Recurring revenue is king. Over the last few years, it has become evident that Apple is realizing that it can no longer rely on hardware sales. The company is realizing that the iPhone upgrade cycle, its bread and butter, is being elongated by longer phone lease agreements and people just keeping their phone longer. The answer to this has, of course, been to double down on services that provide recurring revenue, and Apple has done that. In the last few years, it has rolled out Apple Music, successful. Apple Fitness Plus, that's a good idea. Apple One, also another good idea. Apple TV Plus, I mean, that's going to be a long haul. Right now they're
That's
losing
successful,
money.
I would say.
It's not successful. They're losing money on that.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They're in that film. These services keep money coming in from Apple users, even though if they're not buying any devices. Apple, is, of course, is a for-profit company that is always looking out for new and inventive ways to make money. Why wouldn't it add a premium messaging service to that list? iMessage is an app or entity, is a well-known commodity. It has a gravity in the US that apps like Telegram and Signal do not. Looking beyond the tech enthusiast bubble, everyday people are familiar with iMessage, which makes it a perfect candidate for a cross-platform client.
Yeah.
That is a ridiculous. No, it's silly. Apple accounts for about half of the market share in the US, and which means that iMessage by default is installed on 50% of American smartphones. What that also means is that the other 50% of population is there for the taking. A subscription for iMessage on Android and Windows devices will mean that Apple could capitalize on the fractional nature of instant messaging apps and be the be-all, end-all solution that many people want RCS to be. Only this way it directly benefits Apple, which means they might do it.
It would only be the be-all, end-all solution to those who were willing to pay for it on the Android side. Who knows how many that would be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna skip down a bit. Reflecting on just buy an iPhone. I'm gonna scroll down. Fast forward a bit.
Keep going.
A little bit more. Come on.
I'm at the bottom.
All right there. Despite the viability of an Android iMessage app, the likelihood of Apple ever releasing one is still slim. There you go. Yeah. As an Android user with many friends that use iPhones, the state of messaging in the US is frustrating. While RCS feels like a solution, or at the very least a step in the right direction, you know what? Never mind. This upsets me. Cancel it.
You're getting upset about this, aren't you?
I'm just like all this complaint about RCS. Just use another app. Damn it.
I'm thinking the reason you're getting upset is because this is a viable solution. I could see where a lot of Android users might be willing to pay.
It's only viable if Apple would consider it, and Apple would never consider it because it would hurt them. How many? Like I know too many people.
No, Apple could make a lot of money for people paying them from the Android side to use iMessage, I think.
But here's the thing. iMessage is there to keep people on iPhones. If Apple says, all right, you can leave your iPhone and use iMessage on any device, they're going to use their iPhone.
Yes. Yeah,
that would hurt their hardware sales.
Yeah, you got a point there. That's true. Yeah, because a lot of people stay on iPhones probably because of iMessage.
Yeah, like iMessage is the prison that it is. Like it keeps people stuck to them. The moment they make iMessage a subscription service to use on any device, it stops being a prison and people will just leave their iPhones.
Yeah. And Gary saying Apple would put RCS and iMessage before they do a paid subscription. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
He's saying Verizon is giving away Apple services for free if you buy a new iPhone 14 series device with their unlimited data plan. Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. It would. Yeah, it would. They would never consider. Apple would never consider that. And again, I'm just kind of.
I had their TV for a year for free, but as soon as it wasn't free, I canceled it. And of course, I don't know about
this whole RCS talk. Like, just use another app, guys. Like Telegram.
Yeah, but like he said in the article, Apple is half the U.S. market. Well, the rest of the U.S. market doesn't know much about Telegram or, it's my guess. Keep in mind, RCS is on the Samsung phones now. So that's where most people in the U.S. found out about it in the first place.
So because they don't know much, they have to we have to get force-fed this RCS talk? Nonsense.
Yeah, I think it's at this point, once you get off of iMessage, it's probably the most used because of Samsung, is my guess. Let's see, Gary says the moment Apple makes
iMessage it's actually not.
Most of Apple users will jump to Samsung.
It's actually WhatsApp. Yeah. It's WhatsApp and then Facebook Messenger in the US.
In the US?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, right. I forgot about Messenger. I'm surprised WhatsApp because I know WhatsApp is the most popular in the world. I should have thought about Messenger. Practically everybody I know who doesn't have an iPhone, they use a lot Messenger a lot. Eleanor does.
Thank you, Gary. You actually reminded me. Verizon sent me an offer. If I switch over to them, if I bring a device to them, they'll give me $500 check. And with Visible raising their prices to $30 a month, maybe I'll consider it.
Yeah, Verizon could do nothing to get me over there, but I worked for Verizon for a year before they were Verizon. So
before they were
never,
so it was a different company?
Yeah, they were GTE when I was working for them in Tampa.
Oh.
Yeah, they became Verizon about a year after I left, I think. But yeah, I've always found them to be the most greedy, the one who are going to put the most junk on your phone. Yeah, nothing could make me go to Verizon unless you give it to me for free. I love my T-Mobile. I'm good with that. So we did pretty good, Ted, thanks to you. And your lighting, I thought your lighting ended up being pretty good tonight. I like your new camera.
No, it's a new lens, and the light is
new lens.
New light that I'm not sure.
Well, I like the lighting with the lens. Sounds like a song. Take the lighting with the lens.
Yeah, it's
it all depends. Okay.
Godox FV150. It was on sale for $200. I was like, ooh, and I've always had my eye on it.
Well, I think it came out quite well. I like the way it looks, don't you?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, Gary likes it.
I was concerned about the fan noise, but 35% power is all right.
Yeah, Gary agrees with me about Verizon is always the greediest one of all by far, in my opinion. Gary likes the shot too, so it's not just me that likes it.
There we go. There's my accurate skin tone coming. Okay. Finally.
What'd you do? You just changed the lighting a little bit?
Yeah, I just increased the power.
Okay.
It gives me a yellow undertones. There we go.
Yeah, this light that I use on the right, I got this about 3 weeks ago. It's much better. It's the same as yours. I just have to touch it and it changes.
But yeah, Verizon is expensive though. But we were talking about that. We did a poll. Remember, George?
No.
About all of us going on a postpaid plan, get benefits.
And I said I wouldn't do it. I
you would do it if it was T-Mobile, the one you were at. Selfish.
Yes, only on T-Mobile. Yes, T-Mobile's the only one I like. So I've been on T-Mobile since I think 2011, 2012, something like that. Before that, we were on Sprint for 16 years.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think once Visible, gets rid of my party play plan, maybe I'll stick to the $30 one.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with you and Mike and Will. I mean, the fact that they just jump in it like that, I would go somewhere else too if I were you guys.
Yeah, like pay an extra $5 and you get so much more with someone else.
Exactly. That makes perfect sense. So. Not a chance. Anything to do with Comcast, George ain't going there. Period. That's why I sit here and run this show off a hotspot every week because I am not trusting Comcast to do it. Have you noticed in the last 2 months, I've had I think one broadcast where I had problems, and it used to be when I was on Comcast every week, I was having problems like every 2 or 3 weeks. And sometimes I had to keep getting kicked out and come back in. And since I started using the mobile hotspot, I don't have that issue. So Infinity Mobile, that ain't happening. And keep in mind that we all know the only reason they changed the name to Xfinity is so Comcast could be forgotten about, because Comcast has been in the top 10 most hated companies in America for many years.
I remember that article.
It's been in the top 10 for years, and understandably. And they were banking on the fact that the younger generation will forget that they're and I think they're right. Go ahead.
I read a news article. I was also covered by Philly D. I can't remember if it was Comcast though. Let me quickly look it up before I throw a company under the bus because of my faulty memory. Comcast employee kills customer.
You're kidding.
Let me see it.
Yeah, Gary said they should be number one most hated. I agree 100%.
Maybe it was Spectrum. Former killing of second customer. What?
Well, who?
Uh,
What company was it?
no, this was in Comcast. Maybe it was Spectrum. Hold on.
See, he's giving us teasers, folks, and now he's not coming through.
Oh yeah, get ready to share. All right, this is gonna be the final story, guys. Oh, sorry, we were doing so well for time, but this one.
No, we still have time. You're gonna give me another one to check. Okay, I got it.
Sorry, George.
Let me go get it.
Sorry.
I hadn't heard about this. No problem. I hadn't heard about this at all.
Sorry, guys. We're going on overtime. You thought we were gonna leave you to enjoy your Friday night? Nope. You stay here with us.
I thought they were enjoying their Friday night with us. Come on now. Okay, you're right. Spectrum. Okay, share screen. All right, your idea. You read it as soon as it comes.
All right,
There
hold
you
on.
go.
I'll read it. Let me just. Oh my. Hold
7
on.
billion? Wow.
Just
How do
a
you
moment.
put
Let me
money
just
on
look into
somebody's
Camille.
life, though? I don't see how you put a dollar amount on somebody's life. At least it wasn't Comcast. That's good for them, I guess.
All right, I'm gonna say it right now.
Okay.
Where did I put the story? My bad. Oh,
Did you
see that.
lose it?
Boom. All right, here we go. Tell me when you're ready. Ready?
I'm ready.
We should-
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Spectrum owes family $7 billion after employee murders Texas customer. Oh, look at the baby.
I'm getting rid of that now. I hope. But,
It looks like,
wouldn't
oh,
let me go into read agree with that stupid ad there. Let me try it now.
All right. So this is reported by John Rowe from AP News. No. Sorry, this was
Yes,
reported by
Sarah Martinez. Yeah.
So a Texas family is set to receive a major payout from telecommunications company Spectrum after an employee killed an elderly woman using a tool given on the job. This week, a jury in Dallas. Oh my God, I didn't know this was in Dallas.
I was going to say, this is in York County. That's probably why you know about it.
Founded Charter Communications, the parent company of Spectrum, negligent in hiring a field technician who later killed Betty Thomas, one of the internet provider's customers. According to the reports, former Spectrum employee Ray Holden Jr. robbed and stabbed 83-year-old Thomas inside her home on December 2019. The then technician reportedly went back to Thomas's a day after helping with a phone, driving a Spectrum van and using a utility knife supplied by the company to fatally stab her multiple times. Holden later pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison in April 2021. Charter Communications is also paying the price. In June, a jury found the company liable in the robbery and murder, deciding that Charter Communications would pay 90% of the $375 million in compensatory damages to the Texas woman's family, according to a report by the Dallas WFAA news station.
Good.
In the latest update, the jury has awarded $7 billion in punitive damages to Thomas's family due to Holden's crimes. Chris Hamilton, a lawyer for the family, called Spectrum's hiring of Golden a shocking breach of faith, given that the company sends workers inside millions of homes every year.
I agree.
Actually, when this was actually reported by Phil, what actually happened was Holden was already working for Spectrum.
Right.
And Chris, and then when Charter bought Spectrum, he was already an employee for Spectrum. So, it wasn't like Charter hired him after the fact.
No, I understand that, but they're still responsible.
That's true.
And somebody should certainly done a background check of some kind, I would
The lawsuit
think.
pointed out that the Charter Communications nixed an employee screening program set in place by Time Warner Cable.
That's they nixed the screening program. Sure, they're responsible then.
Was bought out by Charter in 2016. WFA reports that Holden was hired without verification of his employment history, which alleged forgery, falsifying documents, and harassment. On top of his alarming work history prior to Spectrum, reports say that the company failed to recognize red flags surrounding Holden, Testimony during the trial revealed that Holden had told his supervisors about personal and financial issues before the murder and eventually began stealing credit cards and checks from elderly customers. For the
So they
safety
had
of the American public,
plenty reason to be held responsible.
for the safety of the American public, we can hope that Charter Spectrum and its shareholders.
Yeah, one
Oh,
would hope.
it's scrolling up, man. I was reading it off your page. Hold on.
Sorry. Why?
We can only
why
hope
would
that Charter Spectrum and its shareholders are listening, Hamilton said.
Exactly. And why would you stop employee screening when you're sending employees into people's houses? That's stupid.
But yeah, you can take down the article. But yeah, but apparently though, when it was reported by Phil, like he shared more details. Like one, apparently Holden went to HR saying like, I don't know if you guys saw the movie Taxi with Robert De Niro, where he was like, hey, I'm in a bad sort. That's what Holden, he went to HR saying that, he wasn't doing too well.
And that's true. In Taxi, he gave a long time of warnings before he actually killed the guy. That's true.
But yeah, the article doesn't report this, but it got worse. Okay. After Holden killed the customer, the woman, Charter forged documents saying that, pretending that she canceled like her subscription, like trying to liability. That's why, they got hit with the punitive damages as well.
Why aren't some more Charter employees not in prison then? They ought to be in prison then.
That's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, there was definitely a forgery. And one of the evidence was that, hey, she sent one was a forgery signature. They had they tested the signature and it was a forgery, and the other one was like,
that makes them complicit in the murder after the fact.
I mean, I don't know about complicit. Like the murder happened.
They're complicit after the fact. You can be complicit after the fact if
the
you're
murder
trying to cover it up.
Yes,
but you're trying to cover up the murder.
They're not trying to cover up the murder. They're just trying to cover up
their distance your company from the murder.
They're just trying to cover up their vicarious liability, and
that's complicit after the fact. They should be in jail.
What do you guys think? Is that complicit?
And they're tied to the murder, in my opinion.
Charges have already happened. You're just trying to cover up, civil vicarious liability.
You're trying to cover up something that's tied to a murder. Let's not leave that part out.
I mean, they already found out about the murder. Charter was just saying, hey,
but they're trying to distance themselves from the murder, which makes them complicit, in my opinion. Now, being complicit after the fact is not like being complicit before the fact, but you're still complicit, in my opinion.
Also, Charter also said hey, she sent an email trying to cancel her service or about her service,
and was that made up too?
And in fact, she was a 90-year-old woman. She never sent an email ever. So that's how the family.
83 and said, and I'll be sending emails when I'm 83. So I don't see why they think people that age can't send emails.
But she never sent an
emails when I'm 103.
She did out of nowhere.
They ought to be in prison.
So
whoever's involved.
So that's why, $7 billion. That's one of the highest I've ever seen on a company.
I just keep wondering, how do you put a monetary amount on a person's life? I don't know that I could do that.
This wasn't on the person's life. This was just, on Charter companies' behavior.
Yeah, see, Brian agrees, but they're covering up their crap. Well, you agree with that too. Whoever ordered to cover up needed a whooping. Yeah, they need to be in prison, in my opinion. That's the kind of person who probably never expects to be in prison. That's the kind of person you want to put in prison and make them stay there as long as you can, in my opinion.
The murderers, he's serving life. But you thinking other people should be in there with them?
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, maybe, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, but something, not just get away with it after the company pays $7 billion. That's not enough. Whoever tried to cover this crap up should be put in jail, I believe.
But that was a wild story. But what I liked about it was that, this was actually a civil case. The family didn't settle because I'm pretty sure Charter was doing everything in power to try and settle.
Rather than pay $7 billion, I'm sure.
Yeah, but they brought it to court.
You
They
got
showed
to
all
give their
all
lawyer
the-
credit because
all
their
the-
lawyer
all
probably
the
kept
dirty
saying,
laundry.
"Don't take it, don't take it, don't take it," because the lawyer knew.
Yeah, and as a result, we got to see the dirty laundry, and yeah, the laundry was dirty.
Ryan says a whipping or 25 minutes in the cage with a pro fighter. No KOs at that. I agree with that, Brian, 100%. I'll be down with that.
But that is crazy, like killing a customer with your company's tools.
Well, he went there the day before. I'm sure realized what she had that was worth stealing and went back the next day. But why kill her? She's 82 years old. Why kill her? Well, I guess so she couldn't identify you.
Oh yeah, the guy wasn't in the right frame of mind, as he said, before he went on the criminal spree.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And HR didn't do a damn thing. HR is not your friends. Anyway, sorry to leave you guys on that story. Darn.
Hey,
But-
all it does is make us all glad we don't have these kind of issues. So it ends up being a happy ending for us.
Yeah. And George, don't, whenever your utility worker comes by, feel free to call me on a FaceTime or whatever,
It's not my cable. It's my landlord's cable. So they're upstairs. He won't come down here
Aren't
anyway.
they elderly too?
Yeah, but I probably could whip the guy. They probably couldn't. I mean, Joe has a gun and I don't. But of course, I don't have a gun because I don't need a gun.
Oh,
Everybody else I know my age, they let
Yeah,
themselves
no
get
way.
too old to defend themselves. That ain't happening to me for a lot of years yet, guaranteed.
all right.
Yeah, and Brian makes the point. HR never cares, and I've had HR in the past kind of like they care, but they did nothing. So yeah, I think it adds up to HR never cares. I agree.
Don't let Xfinity come in the house.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, guys. Anyway, let's all be glad we don't have these kind of people in our lives, and we have good, loving people in our life. Oh, and anybody who remembers, I didn't know if she'd want me to in the beginning. I'm sure she's asleep by now. Tomorrow is Elmo's birthday.
Ooh.
And I'm taking her out to her favorite restaurant. So she
Which is
tried this a Rodizio Grill, Brazilian steakhouse. She says, "Well, it's too expensive." And I'm like, "Hell no! I only get one chance a year to take you." Actually, this year is twice because when her daughter visited, we went there too because she wanted. But I like taking her there. I even got her something from Jared for the first time in quite a number of years. What did I just do? I think I just knocked myself out.
No, you're still here. Oh, and Brian gave us a super chat. Well, gave you a super chat.
Oh, thank you, Brian. Oh, I see what I did. Wait a minute. See if I can get back in.
If you can see it.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Brian. You're always so very kind. That's twice. He's already done it today. Yeah.
Deja vu.
All right.
You did.
You and Ren's are always good to me. I appreciate it very much. All right, guys. So be grateful that Ted came in and saved the day like he did last week. He did even better this week because you're much longer and we got to see you and everything. So we're happy. So I hope everybody has a very, very wonderful weekend. Brian says, happy birthday, Elmo. I'm sure she's got to work no, she doesn't have to work tomorrow. No, I don't think she does have to work tomorrow. So she might be awake. We'll see. But in any case, so she'll be happy. And she'll be having her favorite stuff. And we should have a good day tomorrow. And hopefully I'm going to ride my bicycle tomorrow. Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it very much. All right, guys. You guys have a very blessed weekend. And I need to start doing this like I do in my other videos.
What's that?
And by the way, we all do better when we love each other.
Oh.
I like to end with that. See ya.